The Romani, or Roma, are arguably among the most discriminated against people in the world, but it has to be said that many turn a blind eye to their plight. Now, why is this? Well, let's turn to history to find a few answers to that question. But before we go any further, remember to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Romani people are in the news all the time. I mean, just do a Google search and you'll find plenty of stories. I mean, one very common one will be stories about Roma families being evicted from traveller sites because local people don't want them there. Or very shockingly, reports in March this year that a primary school in Hungary was actually segregating Romani children away from other children. I mean, can you imagine what that does to a child's self-esteem? And depressingly, somebody who ought to know a lot better, referring to Roma people in a derogatory way by using an old-fashioned insult. Now, I should say from the outset that I have worked with a couple of Roma organisations in Europe in the past, and what I learned is that actually the Romani people are a very diverse bunch. So, for example, in the Balkans in Southeast Europe, you have the Roma, but you also have Ashkali and Balkan Egyptians. In France, you have the Manouche. In Germany, you have about 200,000 Sinti in Germany and Central Europe. And then in Finland, Sweden and Wales, you have, and I hope I get the pronunciation right, Kale people. Now, all of these people collectively are often referred to as gypsy or gypsies. Now, this, interestingly, is a term that divides Roma people themselves. Some see it as a badge of honour, while others see it as an insult. Where did the Romani come from? Well, since the 18th century, through a study of their language, very strong connections were established to the ancient Sanskrit language of India. Now, what seems to have happened is that about 1,000 years ago, an Afghan ruler invaded northern India, and as a result, a section of the population that we now call the Romani were forced out, going first to Afghanistan and Pakistan and then on to modern Iran. Like many migrating peoples, at some point, for whatever reason, they seem to have decided to divide, with one group heading south into the Middle East and eventually North Africa, and the other group heading towards southeastern Europe to the Balkans, and then westward into Western Europe, a direction in which they are still heading. By the 1400s, we get monks and officials writing about the Romani people in Germany, England, Spain, and other parts of Europe. During their centuries-long exodus, they became famous for two things: metalworking and music. In Spain, there's no doubt there's a huge Roma influence in flamenco music, while anti-Roma voices pretty early on in the Middle Ages accused the Romani of having fashioned the nails which were used at the crucifixion. Well, this was obviously a slur intended to stoke up hatred against them. Early on, the Roma showed an indication to want to maintain their roaming ways, and this antagonized many of the host countries because they wanted settled populations that they could control, that they could enlist for military service, that they could force into work, that they could tax. Over time, the Romani came to be regarded as outcasts, and they were accused of being the mainstay of begging, stealing, and even sorcery. Worse than that, they were even enslaved, first of all by Vlad Dracul, the notorious ruler of Transylvania, on whom the character Dracula is allegedly based. But later they really were literally enslaved by the French, Spanish and Portuguese and shipped off to their colonies to be used as hard labour. Hunger and economic deprivation led many Romani to migrate to North America in the 19th century, voluntarily, or although forced to by economic circumstances, in search of a better life. But a real low came for the Romani in the 20th century when, under the Third Reich in Germany, the Nazis killed an estimated 1.5 million Romani in the concentration camps. One might have imagined that such a holocaust against the Romani people by the Nazis would have triggered long-term sympathy for their plight, but not a bit of it. The European Commission has recently stated that the treatment of Romani populations in Europe is a disgrace and something needs to be done, and ditto the United States. But there's lots of fine words and glossy reports, but let's be honest, nothing really seems to change. Hatred and discrimination against the Romani people seems to be almost one of the last accepted forms of discrimination in the world today, and I've seen it on both the political left and the political right. So what do you think when you look back at the history of the Romani people? Do you think that they've had a raw deal, and how can we improve their situation in the world today? I'd like to hear from you.